A few years ago, my husband and I traveled to Australia for the first time. We started our trip in Sydney, and on the second day, we took the train out to one of the seaside towns called Bondi. It was a really dreary, random Thursday, and we were the only ones in this seafood restaurant that we had picked out. We were still a little jet-lagged, and we were not yet accustomed to the Australian accent, and our really tall waiter walked up, he handed us the menus, and then he proceeded to tell us about the fish specials for the day. When he was done, I just looked up at him and said, "I'm really sorry, I didn't understand a word you just said." So he paused, he leaned over, remember he's really tall, he got really close to my face, and speaking slowly and loudly, he said, "What kind of fish do you want?" And I tell you this story not to embarrass myself further, although I can tell you I was thoroughly mortified that day and he couldn't get us out fast enough. But I tell you because perhaps that's how you'll hear me today, like I'm speaking a foreign language. But as you listen to my words, they will become more familiar. And another language that might sound a little foreign to you is the language that your body speaks. Because each of your bodies has its own language and it has its own way of communicating with you. When you listen to it, it too will become more familiar and less foreign sounding. So my mission today is to present to you new ways of thinking about stuff you already know. How many of you know that you need to drink more water, to exercise more, to eat more vegetables and fruits? Of course you do. We all do. That last one, by the way, vegetables and fruits, that was deliberate. Sounds kind of funny, doesn't it? My aim is that when you hear it, you'll pause, and perhaps it will even inspire you to reach for that green leafy salad instead of that donut. So if you know that you need to drink more water, exercise more, and eat more vegetables and fruits, what's stopping you? Do you ever feel overwhelmed? Do you even know where to begin, what to do? Do you know how much more is? My mission today is to explain all of that to you. In fact, I have personally over 100 diet and lifestyle books, and those books would love to answer all of those questions. So I prefer to follow a plan, and if someone's willing to do it for me, all the better. I would get one of those books, I would dive into the pages, I would eagerly follow their rules, and I would do my best to follow every single thing that they said. I would last a while, but to me, those books aren't what I call real life. So if a good plan is something that you can do, then it has to be something that fits into your lifestyle where you are right now. With his permission, I'm going to tell you the story of my husband, Rich. He is the perfect example, and maybe his story is similar to yours. He was one of those people that could eat anything he wanted and not gain a pound until he turned 30. Now, he's got some genetic stuff going on in his family, and so he is by training an engineer, and he kept a spreadsheet, an amazing spreadsheet for 20 years that listed all of his vital numbers, his cholesterol, his triglycerides, his blood pressure. You get the idea. And also on this column, on this spreadsheet, one of the columns listed any significant aberrations that he did in his normal routine. And he noticed that over the years, some of those numbers fell into the unhealthy range. So, Rich needed to make a change. He would tell me that I'm in the 99th percentile. He'd always say, "Mare, you are so disciplined. You do things that other people aren't willing to do. They're not interested in doing it." So he would watch as I would eat healthy foods, skip the alcohol and the caffeine, and limit my dessert. And then he would just eat whatever he wanted. Finally, his doctor started making noise about taking better care of himself. So the only compromise that Rich was willing to make at that point was to hire a registered dietitian. Yeah, it's true. He paid money to a third party to tell him how to eat. When he came home from his first and only appointment, he basically admitted that she told him everything that I've been telling him all along. And in the end, he didn't listen to her any more than he listened to me. But he did listen to his doctor. Rich was ready to make himself a priority. He was ready to make a change. For him, that change came in one of those books that I own. He took his own good plan and he made it his own, and I think that's important because that's the reason why he stuck to it. He lost over 20 pounds, and more importantly, his numbers came down into the normal range without any medication. So I want the same thing for you. I would love for you to be inspired enough to create your own good plan. But before we dive into the best way to drink more water, exercise more, and eat more vegetables and fruits, we have to go back to the very beginning, to what I consider the single most important piece, your desire. Your desire to be healthier. I can't want that for you. I can't want you to be healthier than you want you to be healthier. After all, I could craft an entire day for you, minute by minute, vegetable by vegetable, but unless you want to do it, none of it's going to matter. It has to be your own good plan. And by good plan, I mean it has to be something that feels good, right? Because if it feels good, you're more apt to stick to it, and if you're more apt to stick to it, you are more apt to succeed. So let's just start with the universal desire to lose weight. Whether you're talking about 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds, it doesn't really matter. What matters is, does that feel good? I know to me, when I think about losing weight, that is so daunting. So does it feel good to you when you say, I'd like to lose 20 pounds? Or if we look at it a different way and we take the focus off of losing weight and instead put it on the concept of that I want to fit into any pair of jeans in my closet on any given day. Those of you with a pair of fat jeans and a pair of skinny jeans know exactly what I'm talking about there. So does that feel better? Does that feel better to say I want to fit into my jeans? Does that feel better than saying I want to lose 20 pounds? And I would maintain that when you find your own good plan and you stick to it, you may be able to fit into all of those jeans without too much effort at all. So it all goes back to that beginning, desire. What do you want? This is where it's really important to listen to that language that your body is speaking, to understand what it's telling you. And if you sit quietly and listen, it will tell you. It will tell you what it wants. It will tell you what it needs. And that is where you begin. That's exactly where you begin. Do you want to live a vibrant, healthy life? Do you want to sleep better? Do you want more energy? Do you want to be able to roll around on the floor with your kids and your grandkids? Would you like to laugh more? Because I guarantee that once you set that intention and put that desire in motion, people, things, circumstances will seemingly randomly pop up to not only guide you to that healthier path, but help you maintain it much easier. For instance, let's say you decide today that you're going to drink more water. You'll begin to notice how available water is to you. You'll begin to notice people randomly handing you a glass of water. But it all goes back to your desire. So if desire is first, then permission has to be second. You have to give yourself permission to take better care of you. I know this is really especially hard for women because we tend to take care of everybody and everything else first. And by the time it's our turn, it's midnight and we're too exhausted. So it's really important in a good plan to take time every single day, whether that's 5 minutes or an hour, to focus on that healthy thing that you said you wanted. And if you're giving yourself permission, it's also important to extend that permission into being okay with where you are right now. Give yourself permission to just start. This is especially true with exercise, because how many of you have started an exercise regimen and you've dived into it wholeheartedly, enthusiastically, and you wake up the next morning and you're so sore you can barely get out of bed? Unfortunately, most of the time it ends right there. I know I've definitely been guilty of that. I'm kinder now. I'm gentler to me. I like being strong, and I used to do 25 push-ups most mornings. And then, life kicks in, the busyness happens, and I got out of that habit. And so when I start again, and I will start again, I will give myself permission to start with just 5. Just 5. Now, I could beat myself up over and over again for being out of shape, or I could congratulate myself for just starting. Which one feels better? So, if you know that you need to eat those vegetables and fruits, and you know that you need to drink more water, and you know you need to exercise more, let's talk about exercise, because that word is so highly charged. What if we think about that differently? Instead of exercise, what if we just talk about moving your body? Because when you are just starting out on a good plan, that is the most important piece. Just to move your body every single day. To just start and be okay with it. Did you walk at all yesterday? No. Then walk some today. Take a walk around the block. Take a walk around your office. Take the long way to the bathroom. Just do it. Just start somewhere. For vegetables and fruits, did you eat any of those yesterday? Think back. Think back to how many vegetables and fruits you ate, and just eat some more today. Just eat a carrot stick. Just eat an apple. By definition, for a lot of you, that may be more than what you did yesterday. And as for drinking water, that seems to be the first place that people want to start. Think about how much water you drank yesterday and just drink a little bit more today. So also in a good plan, yes, we have the drinking more water and eating more vegetables and fruits and moving your body more, but to me, a good plan also has to include dessert. And in my good plan, that dessert would be chocolate cake or apple pie with cinnamon ice cream. And so if we're including that in a good plan, it's important now to go back to the beginning of desire, of listening to your body, of understanding what your body wants. And so if you ask yourself, do I really want the chocolate cake? This is where you pause and you listen and you feel, does your body really want it? Because, you know, when we're headed on a healthy path, a lot of times the concept of chocolate cake goes on that forbidden list. And it is truly human nature to want what we can't have. So you need to grant yourself permission to eat that cake. You also need to listen to your body, because as you ask that question, do I really want the chocolate cake? Sometimes the answer is going to be no. You may not want to hear it, but your body will tell you loudly and clearly, oh my gosh, one more piece and I'm going to be sick. And you need to honor that and respect your body for that. So you've given yourself permission to eat the chocolate cake because you've asked, you know you want it, you've given yourself permission to eat it. Now you need to extend that permission to enjoy it, guilt-free. Because why would you ever consume all those calories without deriving any pleasure? And I guarantee you that the guilt will diminish any pleasure you will get from eating that chocolate cake. So all of what we're talking about so far, eating this chocolate cake, we haven't even taken a bite. This is the mental part. This is the part that's really important about that foreign language that I was talking about listening to your body, listening to what you want and what it's willing to do. But now you are ready to eat that chocolate cake. So take a slice, put it on a plate. Portion it out. Whether it's chocolate cake or ice cream or cookies or potato chips, whatever your favorite indulgence is, take some and put it on a plate. Because in the end, maybe that's all your body wants. Maybe that will be enough. And again, you need to honor your body. Allow yourself to eat it, allow yourself to enjoy it, take a portion, but honor your body when your body has said that's enough. So now you have your chocolate cake on a plate. You're going to go to a table and you're going to sit down and you're going to be really present. And this is where you're going to eat that chocolate cake. No distractions. You're going to take a bite. You're going to savor it. You're going to taste it. You're going to feel the texture. And most importantly, you are going to enjoy every single bite of eating that chocolate cake. Because again, a good plan is something that you can do. And if a good plan is something you can do, then it's got to include all pieces of it. So start today, somewhere, take one piece, take one thing that I've said, and just do a little bit more. Think back to yesterday and how much you moved your body, how much water you drank, how many vegetables and fruits you ate, and just do a little more today. And remember to congratulate yourself about getting started and acknowledge yourself for taking action. When you do this, your body will thank you.